I'm in Washington DC and I'm jet lagged. It's 5:10 in the morning here. I'm on London time still. I only got in last night, so effectively to me it feels like 10:10. Today I'm just going to take a walk to the monuments, might have a look at the Smithsonian Museum and see if I can do a quick sketch of one of those monuments or some scene. So, see you in a minute. I've been walking around for a while and I think I'm going to choose this scene. This is the Washington Monument, you can see, and it's picking up the light really nicely on its right hand side. It's going to be quite out of proportion though. You've got this huge structure and then everything else is fairly low lying, so I might have to manipulate that a little bit. There's no clouds in the sky, so in the actual sketch probably what I'll do is have some sky features here. But this is a nice spot because I've got that bench which I can just sit down on. I'm surrounded by these cherry trees with the blossom now starting to come out, and of course Washington DC is famous for its cherry blossom. Today's the 1st of March, so it's too early for the full bloom that people come to see, but nice nevertheless. So we'll give this a go. And this is the paper I'm going to be using, which is a Rowney smooth heavyweight cartridge style paper. It's quite thick, so it's going to take a watercolour wash quite well later, although today I'm only going to do a quick sketch. I'll do the details at home. And I'm using my normal sort of Derwent HB sketching pencil, and it's in a Derwent pencil extender. I've done a review of this pencil in another one of my videos if you want to learn more about it. It's one of my go-to sort of sketching pencils. Plastic eraser and this lovely little brass pencil sharpener which I bought from that lovely shop in London called Cornelissen. Well, I've just put in the main outline of the structure of the Washington Monument here. It's not easy to film what I'm doing because you can see that really strong shadow being cast with the sun that's on my right hand side. So I'll start blocking in the tree here, the sort of fields and parkland paths coming across like this. I think it's the one of the museums, which might be the American Museum of Culture and something else, I'll check that later, which would be this structure here, and then some buildings and a upright structure here again. I don't know the names of any of these buildings. I don't know Washington well at all. And I think ultimately this scene is going to have a sort of, I don't know if it's stormy sky, but there'll certainly be some features here to try to balance off the composition, because we don't have a composition that's like this. There's a lot of flat features, interesting but still flat nevertheless, and you've just got this sticking up on the right hand side. So just having some kind of features in the sky, some stormy clouds, some light coming through it or something like that will help balance it off. The museum is approximately going to be like this. You get the angles right. It comes up like this. It's kind of in a layer. So the other layer goes like that. It comes out a little bit more of an angle. The angles again, it comes up like this. Okay. Alright, so we're going to put that down like that. And that comes down like that. So now I can see that the angle of that parkland was a little too severe, so I'll shallow that off. Comes down like that. Okay, so that. Now that side is sloping off that way. This slide is going to be sloping off that way, like that and like that. So, and that's something I'm always thinking to myself: how long is something in relation to the other thing? You just keep doing that. You just do one line, look at the next one. How does that look in relation to the one you just drew on? So then do that line, and then do the next one. You break it up into sort of a manageable thought process like that. The whole process seems a little bit easier. And you see, I'm spending quite a while on a small little structure like this, but you get that bit right, and then everything else is okay. Sort of bed this down a little bit. Commit myself to these lines. Remembering that the light will be shining and this will be bright. This will be bright as well. These will be in shadow and that will be in shadow. And that's the type of thing that will bring the painting alive. That's where we're at so far. And if you can see, that's what I'm up to. You can see, I see I've adjusted the proportion slightly. The composition just wouldn't work. I might make the monument a bit taller later. Sharpen my pencil. I always like to have a nice sharp point in it. Just give it a few twists, and you got a lovely. And you can see it like that. Nice sharp point. I just do that very frequently. Try not to labour things too much. So it's always a sort of balancing act. Get it right, but don't be too concerned about every last final minor detail. This is a sketch after all, and just because it's a sketch doesn't mean you don't have to spend a little bit of time over it, but I do want it to look sketchy, if that makes any sense. So now we're going to put this in. Right, so the structure is going to come up here. It's higher than this by about half in total, but the first part of it will come up to about here. And this line intersects with this line here, so I'll just put that in, make sure it's perpendicular. And there's all sorts of features in this thing, but this is a tiny sketch. It really doesn't matter about putting those in at this stage. It comes out like that, that comes out like that. So I'm going to complete this bit. There's a few trees here, so I'll put those in. I'll trail them off. All these pillar structures, which will, I think it will just look nice to at least get those in. And those pillars start approximately here, and there's a line here. There's 4 fairly substantial windows here. There's more than 4, but the rest are just, the 5th and the 6th just get hidden. Start like this, there's one, there's another, bottom of this, where this wall joins the next. A few lines in it. We'll just put those trees in, suggesting them. I'll finish them off later at home. Trees come on like that. There's a few more here. And the flags are going to be like this. So we'll just pretend to sketch them in first before I actually sketch them in. Obviously this goes round like this, you see. You think of it like that, so there'll be more flags coming out like that, like that, like that behind them. Like that. It's not too far at scale, I'll probably just leave it like that. Yes, the monument looks more imposing in real life. Scale wise it's bigger than that. Branches and like that. Continue this sort of filigree of branches as they twigs, branches. Oh, so you got the trunks, they go to branches and they go to twigs and so on. So I'm just blocking in a few features in this building. Some lines like this. It's part of the structure. So they go in, but they're not on this bit. Let's just do one last thing, and that's, you do have a path coming around like this, but at this stage that's not really going to add me, putting in a tiny path, it's not going to add much to this. So just indicate that this slope is going down like this, and it's a bit steeper here. Shallows off. As it shallows off, it becomes parallel. Okay, so I think that's okay for now. I've got everything I need there to complete the sketch at home, thinking a little bit more about some of the proportions and stuff. So see you back in the studio where we'll start to put some finishing touches to this sketch and paint it in watercolour.